I am here with Luke Jamieson,
G'day.
the world traveler extraordinaire. I think there must be three of you, Luke, because I run into you all over the place. There can't just be one of you doing all that travel.
I kind of wish there was. It would make my job a lot easier.
I bet. Well, we are here in Las Vegas this week for a conference, but you are speaking at ICMI's Expo digital event coming up on agent burnout. And tell us, let me ask first, tell us about your role now. What's behind all this travel and what are you working on?
Well, thanks for asking. So I am the CX evangelist at Operata, and what that means is I just get to travel around the world and hang out with people like you. No, I get to talk about the product that we're working on, our platform. I get to write heaps, do all the things that I'm passionate about, create video, and I was really intentional when I joined Operata because I've been on the other side of the fence. I've been the agent, I've been the leader, I've been the manager, I've been the exec, where you get sold this stuff all the time and promised, we're going to save you 25 seconds in average handle time, and you just know it's not going to be the case. And so I was really did my due diligence to make sure that what I was stepping in to be an evangelist for actually did what it said it does, and so it's been really exciting. I really enjoyed my time there already. Yeah,
it's been great to see the trajectory of your career. As you say, you started in that seat. I was in that seat way back, probably a few years before you, and to see that that you've gone through these roles and you have a real heart and passion for agent burnout, making sure that we're supporting those, preventing that burnout from happening. Tell us what you think what's happening and what aren't we understanding as leaders? Why is that still so prevalent out there?
Well, let's take the last 7 years. The last 7 years, attrition hasn't changed. It's the same figure every single year. And I'm being conservative when I say it sits at that 30% mark. It's much higher for the bigger contact centers, and we're talking like over 50%, which to me isn't even attrition. That's a revolving door. And we're not doing anything different. We keep doing the same thing and hoping to get different results. And I think what happens is we focus so much on the whole reward and recognition, and it's a cultural issue or it's a behavioral issue. And we need to look at a different angle, I think, because clearly that's not working.
Yeah.
And if we think about burnout, like what percentage of that overall attrition is burnout? We did the largest survey in Australia across all the Australian contact centres. And we then compared that across all the studies that have been done globally, here in America, Asia, Europe, and the figures all look very, very similar.
Yeah. So
it's an industry problem, not a location problem. And 10% of all agents are leaving from burnout. Burnout, like if you think about burnout, someone is absolutely cooked. They can't do this anymore physically and mentally.
Yeah.
That's a horrible place to be. It's a horrible place for us to be putting agents.
Yeah. What are we getting wrong when it comes to the metrics? We're obviously, there are many leaders who aren't seeing the burnout for what it is. And they're certainly not seeing the cost of it.
Yeah.
I remember losing friends to burnout. Like, why are they? I don't want them to leave. They're my friend.
Exactly.
So there's this huge toll. And I know we're not measuring a lot of it, but we're probably, in many cases, measuring the wrong thing altogether.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because by the time it happens and the time you see it, it's too late. By the time you get and realize that someone's burnt out, you can't bring that back.
Yeah.
And that's what's been really exciting about the work that I've been doing. And you're right, the cost is huge. The average cost to replace an agent is like $15,000.
Yeah, and that's probably conservative,
That's
right?
conservative, and when you think about that, like a 500-seat contact center, like you start to talk about these larger contact centers, that's $750,000 right there, just on that specific thing.
Yeah,
we're not talking. Think about loss of productivity and the lead up to that, all the other,
and the emotional toll. I mean, it's hard to lose your friends and colleagues,
brand reputation, all the things that come with that. It's phenomenal. So for me, we have to look at something different. And so that's what I've been doing. I'm very lucky to have access to a lot of data, over 1 trillion data points, over 1 billion agent minutes, over 370,000 agents. To be able to see that data and both technical, operational, and experience data And to be able to see these insights start to converge and get actionable insights and correlation between this data, to me it's been fascinating. And through this thing, what I'll be talking about is this 10 by 10 rule. It's a new way of looking at data. And that stems from this idea that 10% of your agents are experiencing 10 times the normal experience, so experiencing something 10 times more than everyone else, or displaying 10 times the behavior of other agents. And when you start to look at this lens, some pretty amazing stuff happens.
Yeah. You talk about the aggregate data. I was in a contact center a while back, and the director was concerned with one of her agents. Like she was a star, and now she's just not performing. I'm like, well, how do you know? Well, she's not handling as many interactions, or handling times longer. The typical stuff. Handling times longer. First contact resolutions dropping. Customer sentiments dropping. All the metrics. Well, it didn't take long to figure out that she was the star. Really, I mean, she was the one that their team were transferring the toughest interactions to. Yeah. She had the experience, and she was willing to wrestle them to the ground and get them done once and for all. But they were the tougher ones. There was longer handling time. Yeah. First contact resolution was a bit lower because there were some of those cases that needed additional work and some follow up. How do we get the metrics right then? Because that's a single data point.
That's the problem.
But very clear.
Yeah.
How does that not get lost?
Well, because we're so used to those headline metrics, right, Brad? We have these headline metrics that we say average handle time, first call resolution, customer satisfaction, all of these headline metrics. And the minute that they start to slip, we think that it's a behavioral problem. And then we go, and the way we've been taught for so many years, Jack Welch had this vitality model, 70-20-10. 70% of your agents sit in the middle, 20% of your top performers, and then 10% just get rid of them. And we've kind of built in that if you're in the bottom 10%, you're taking all the energy out of the room. Of course you are, because you've got none left. You're burnt out, right? And so how do you then? So we move them on. But the problem is that these headline metrics have all these underlying things. There's all these upstream impacts that are happening that get us to there. And this is where I find the 10 by 10 rule really exciting. Let me give you a really simple example. If you looked at customer satisfaction, so your customer satisfaction scores you're getting back being poor, the likelihood of you leaving is like 50% in the next 3 months. So if you're getting poor customer satisfaction scores on 30%, so if you're experiencing that 10 times more than your other agents, you're likely to leave. Yeah. 50% are likely to leave in the next 3 months. But what's causing that negative customer satisfaction? This is where I don't believe, and where we've said it's the behaviors, it's the culture, it's the manager. It's not just that. Yeah. It goes beyond that. It's not in the DNA, it's in the desktop. What if I was to tell you that of those people who are leaving, a massive proportion of them had really high CPU failure. So their PCs are maxing out, and we're seeing that a lot, right? With AI coming in, it's using a lot of data, and it's using a lot of processing power on these PCs. All of a sudden, these PCs aren't up to spec. Yeah. What then happens? You get poor audio. Customer doesn't have a great experience. That gets flowed on. And this person then has poor satisfaction scores. They don't know what they're doing wrong. They're getting one-way audio, jitter, lag. All these things are happening. That's a desktop issue, not a DNA issue. Yeah. But we don't see it that way. We're looking for the headline saying, "Oh, why is this person failing?" And your example, right? The correlation there was they're doing all the hard work. They're doing all the hard calls. Imagine how tough that is on you, just like mentally, physically, emotionally, every single day. Yeah. That correlation, that understanding around the experience of that agent is so important, and that's the metadata that we need to be looking at beyond just those headline metrics. Yeah. What I love about the work you're doing, Luke, is just the overall reminder that we can do something about this. We don't have to have burned out employees. We don't have to suffer the costs, financial, emotional, otherwise, of having this happen. We can get at this, and we can resolve it. It is more important now than ever with AI
create, handling the easier work and leaving us
Absolutely.
with the more emotionally sensitive and really tougher work. We've got to keep our best employees.
Absolutely.
So I just love the positive message in it.
That's right. I think you come along to the session because I'm going to show you some things that are going to give you some insight into how to find and see burnout before it happens. And you can make some steps. You can actually take some steps with the data that you already have to actually prevent that agent burnout. So I really hope to see you at that event.
Love it. Safe travels, Luke. Thanks
you,
for
mate.
spending a few minutes with me this afternoon, and we'll see you around.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Hooroo.